Joining us now on our Book Talk segment, great to welcome a woman who's written a very interesting book. It's going to, open up a lot of eyes and ears about the airline industry. We're going to find out about it. It's called Cabin Fever, The Sizzling Secrets of a Virgin Airlines Flight Attendant. We're joined today by Mandy Smith, who was a flight attendant for Virgin Airlines for 12 years, and she's over in her home country of England today. She joined us by telephone. Mandy, good to talk with you. How are you?
Hi, Doug. I'm good, thanks. You?
I'm doing great. Good to have a chance to chat with you for a few minutes there, and I had an opportunity to read through the book, and it's quite a book, Mandy. You did a good job describing your job.
Thank you.
I know it's just coming out, but have you had any feedback yet from other people in the industry?
Yeah, we had a lot of input from people because it came out last year in the UK.
Okay.
So we've had a lot of input from that already. It was one of those things that we've had good things, and we've also had a little bit of negativity, but mostly positive, I must admit. I've had people even contact me saying that they've changed their lives reading the book, which I find quite bizarre that I could have done anything, remotely like that, but it's nice to hear.
Just reading some of the notes, I didn't realize it was a year ago, but it came out over in the UK first, and now just coming out in the US this week as we talk now, this month actually.
Yes.
So, now Virgin Atlantic, that is the airline that primarily goes, I guess, New York to the UK. Pretty much, that's the big run.
Yes, we do. It's a long haul. Yes, so it's mostly New York, Vegas. We go to Sydney and Hong Kong and Chicago. Lots of Caribbean islands. Yeah, we fly basically all around the world.
And you were there 12 years. Talk a little bit about, first before we get into the book, is that something you kind of wanted to do to become a flight attendant, or did you fall into it?
Yes, no, it was really strange because I'd always wanted to be a flight attendant, but I kind of followed my dad's nudging towards me working in an office, My dad always wanted me to be this businesswoman, but I worked in engineering at Virgin first because I kind of fell into that job by accident, and absolutely loved working in engineering, but after 3 years of working there, decided I wanted to spread my wings and go and travel a bit more. And one of my colleagues said to me, my wife is an air hostess for British Airways, why don't you go and do that, because you'd have so much fun. So I kind of did, and he was right.
Well, Richard Branson, he's the name that people associate with him. We see the commercials over here with him, so he's the face of the airline, right? Did you get to meet him right away?
Yes, he was definitely more involved. Obviously, when the company was a younger company, when it was new in 1996, when I joined. But I guess they don't see him as much now because he's got so many ventures all around the world. And but he's still the face of the airline. And we used to have drinks with him after work and stuff because he was such a generous boss. He would always be in the bar because we had a bar in the foyer downstairs at work, and which opened when the office was closed. Then the bar would open. And he'd always be there buying everyone drinks and, chatting and stuff, yeah.
I didn't know that flight attendants, they used to be called stewardesses. I guess you can't use that term anymore, but trolley dolly, I never heard that before. That's a funny name, funny word.
Yeah, that's one of the terminology. I think terminology we use for ourselves. I guess it's just a friendly banter, trolley dolly.
A UK way of putting it. I like that, trolley dolly. But
yes, yeah.
Let's get into the book a little bit. Now, it's not just a book of the after party kind of things that the airline folks have done. But you have some stories in there as well. I know you have something to do with 9/11 and other things that happen on board. But I'm going to kind of let you talk a little bit about the premise of the book. What can people expect?
Oh, it starts off with the training of we have 6 weeks training, and it's quite intensive, and it goes into how the training prepares you for emergency situations, and it tells how we're trained by the SAS, which is our security services in England, so many ex-SAS trainers on how to restrain passengers, so there's details and that kind of thing in there. Obviously, I've withheld a lot of security information. I wouldn't want to give too much away, but it goes into me actually flying and the schedules that I had. I think the New York was one of my first destinations, and it was just blew me away. I love New York so much, but then it kind of goes into all the party aspect of it, and sometimes there's incidents that happen on board of people having heart attacks, and I even ended up stitching one man's side up where he'd had an operation, and
Right.
I'd had to re-stitch his side up with butterfly stitches because it had popped open mid-flight, and just things like that. Just you wouldn't expect for somebody who's just serving your tea and coffee, but we are actually medically trained as well, so if anything untoward does happen, we're prepared.
I think a lot of people don't realize, you fly and you hope nothing serious happens, but the flight attendants have to be trained in emergency situations. So occasionally that has happened to you, right, where you've had to do stuff on board to help people.
Yes, definitely. Luckily, it doesn't happen very often now. And in my 10 years of flying and 12 years at the aircraft, there's not been that many incidents of things like that happening. We had an engine fire on board when I was on a flight to Miami, and luckily it was an electrical fire, so it was contained very easily. It was obviously quite frightening for some of the passengers because they knew we had a fire on board, and that whole concept of there being a fire really just scare people. But we did have another 3 engines, so we were good.
Right, yeah, I read
and
that.
we just turn around and...
You describe that very well in the book, because once the passengers know what's happening, you got to calm them down. That's not easy to do.
Oh yeah, it really was like a scene off Airplane. You know that movie
Right.
from the 80s?
Sure, exactly like that. Just not as funny though.
Yeah.
Well, they were slapping the
No,
passenger.
not.
You're right.
Yeah, but it was quite easily contained. But it's just that one of those things that you need to see that wasn't so much of a big deal for the cabin crew, because we knew that an engine fire can be contained by turning the engine off. But from a passenger's perspective, I guess it was really scary.
Well, part of the title, as we said, The Sizzling Secrets. So I know you have quite a bit of the descriptions of the after the flight, the party aspect of it, and that seems like it was a lot of fun. Obviously, it seemed like you enjoyed that part of it as well. And most of the people were single, so nothing wrong with that, right?
Exactly. It was very much like party atmosphere, and it's one of those things, when you fly to these destinations, staying in Cape Town for 7 nights and Vegas for 5 nights, and sometimes even St. Lucia for 7 nights. So, we didn't party every night, so there'd be 1 or 2 nights we would go out and have a party, and then the rest would stay in. Or, it was just one of those things that working with the general public, you get to see a lot of crazies, so it's a pretty stressful job, and it's a good way of letting your hair down afterwards.
Yeah, I think people, you could make jokes of it or something if you want, but the job you have, it's a tight schedule. You're working crazy hours, and it's probably difficult to meet people outside the industry, so you tend to be with the people you work with, right? Or at least in that industry, so that's who you party with, right?
Yes. Yeah, very, very much so. And it was very much like we were just out having fun. It wasn't like everyone was having lots of sex with everybody else. It was just one of those things where people were out to have a good time, were out to have fun, and sometimes people met and things did happen, and sometimes it didn't.
Oh.
But I guess people want to hear more about the sex stories and things like that. So there's a few of them in there in the book.
Yeah, but very well described, if I may say so myself. You did a good job of that. You were there, like we said, 12 years. Did you just recently leave the business, or how long have you been out of it?
It was 2009 I took redundancy, so they were paying people like managers to leave because we had too many managers, so I took the redundancy. And I've worked in the office since then, but I didn't go back to flying.
And since then, I understand you got married and you have a daughter, right? So a different type of life now over in England.
Oh, completely different, and I absolutely love it just as much. It's really strange because I guess I always, I was always searching for something, and see my family, my parents met when they were at school, so I guess I've always been a little bit jealous of the fact that they've had like 40 years together, and me and my husband have only been together 7 years now, so it's they've had this whole life together, and we've got a lot of catching up to do. But yeah, it's an amazing situation. I thought I always wanted to be a mum, and I was missing out on something, but I just wanted to wait until the right person came along to have a baby.
Yeah,
you know?
That's great. Well, you've had a chance to have the career you wanted, and now you have the life you want. Again, we've been talking with Mandy Smith today. The name of the book is Cabin Fever, The Sizzling Secrets of a Virgin Airlines Flight Attendant. Great summer read, as they say. And Mandy, do you have a website you want to direct people to? They can get more information on the book.
Oh, yes, I've got a Twitter account if anyone wants to chat, or I've also got Facebook. The Twitter is at cabinfever_book, and Facebook is just a Cabin Fever page. It'd be lovely to chat with anyone.
Great. Mandy, pleasure talking to you. I hope we can do it again down the road, but thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Bye.
If you'd like to order the book we're talking about, please go to DougMilesMedia.com and enter the author's name in the Amazon search box. Thank you for listening. Please come back soon for more conversations here at DougMilesMedia.com. This has been a presentation of Doug Miles Media, all rights reserved. You can listen to or download previous programs at iTunes, Stitcher.com, or Doug Miles Media.